Hey, everybody, welcome to another Rainmaker podcast. And today we have another AUM success story in Lori Lawrence. And she's going to share with you her story on how she's building her business all the way from one cool place in Montana. Lori, welcome to the Rainmaker podcast. It's so great to have you on.
Thanks so much, Arturo. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, let's not keep them waiting. Let's dive right in. How did you get into this thing called life insurance in the first place?
Oh, it's an interesting story. I have been in working with corporate America as a mid-level manager and also as an individual contributor now for close to 30 years, all in the tech sector. I started with a large computer company in and around the Austin, Texas area. And I was a single mother, and it provided a wonderful, steady income and lifestyle for my daughters and I. When they grew up, graduated from college, went on and started their own lives, I decided to become an individual contributor myself and go out and sell technology to hospitals and healthcare systems. And fast forward, I have been doing that now for the last 10 years. And it's interesting, Arturo, because what I provide to hospitals and healthcare systems is much like the vehicle and the platform that you provide to life insurance. And so I saw a really interesting connection. What I provide to nurses and doctors is the ability to stay connected to their patients post visit or post hospital stay using an AI technology, a chat. And so when the last few years, as you can imagine, with COVID and the pandemic, healthcare has really evolved into an interesting place. I'll keep it as positive as I can. And I have personally gone through several layoffs, reorganizations, acquisitions, and as I'm entering into the final part of my career season, this past January, I saw the writing on the wall coming again. And I began to start searching around what could I do for myself and escape kind of the traps of what I had built within corporate America as an employee. And I very quickly saw and found a lot of the successes that life insurance agents were having as independent brokers joined with, various other companies. And so this past April, actually March, end of March, I became licensed in the state of Montana, which is where I live, Great Falls. And I knew that I could do this virtually because I do it virtually now in my current role. I am
Mm-hmm.
part-time, and I already know what's going to be happening here in the next couple of weeks as the company that I'm with has announced a major reorg. But the thing that I've done is I thought ahead and I set myself up now so that if indeed I do get a pink slip, it won't bother me. I will not be in any type of a panic because I already have my business set up. It's flowing. I am with you. I found you in June. Just continuing to stay focused in what is new and upcoming, and I knew I wanted a technology that I was very familiar with, which is exactly what your technology provides to me as an insurance broker to my clients that I'm wanting to serve and protect. So I'm ready if my company says goodbye, and I may say goodbye to them first because I have found a lot of success using your platform.
Mm, wow. So what's it like to know that whatever storms happen? Because in business, especially when you're working in someone else's business, because it sounds like you're an entrepreneur moving into an entrepreneur situation, and you can kind of see the way things are going because of the patterns. What's it like to set yourself up for success, knowing that your business is now pandemic and recession proof because of the use of technology?
Yeah, it gives me a tremendous amount of peace. I am married. My husband owns his own business. I've seen that, his own ability to kind of control his environment, his world as an owner, employee, and I feel now that this is mine. I control my time. I control my income. I heard one of our speakers the other day make an analogy that when you are calling leads and following up with leads, it's like going to an ATM machine. If you need additional income, if you need additional clients, you step up to that lead, which you guys are providing a tremendous amount for me, and you make that connection, and you protect that client. So it for me, it's provided some consistency and a lot of control for myself, so that I don't have to depend on anyone else's decisions.
Yes, for sure. And so, as we transition into, kind of what you're doing, because everybody's like, okay, so what is it? What are you doing? So, how did you come across myself and AJC in the first place?
So I'm big on social media. I really know that a lot of marketing, a lot of very successful marketing, even in my corporate vehicle that I'm working with, I knew that social media is an avenue in which you can reach so many people, and it really kind of casts a wide net. So in my time on Facebook, I found you and I did some research, really kind of dug in a little bit, listened to all of the videos that you have available, listening to other success stories. Actually, found some folks that are in the same insurance company that I am in, and listened to their success story. And I thought, you know what, this looks exactly what I'm looking for. I talked to one of your folks, and he explained to me the technology and how it works. And I thought, this is exactly what I need.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one of the questions that I'm interested in is because you said you've seen a lot of marketing and things over the place. Like,
Mhm.
what was the one thing that sold you, or what was the one thing that allowed you to have confidence to actually take the leap of faith to partner with us to allow us to do it? Because let's be honest, there's a lot of for insurance agents in the insurance industry. There's a lot of marketing things out there. There's a lot of things that people are offering that may seem too good to be true. And sometimes this does too. So I'm just curious on what was the one thing that kind of settled you and allowed you to make a confident decision to work with us.
I liked the idea that there's a whole package here. I'm using, I think, all aspects. So I like the idea that very quickly your leads, the clients that connect with the various different Facebook ads and videos, can set up time and put time on your calendar so that you already know what your schedule looks like. I've also invested in a dialer. And so that I also now are create it for me, the ability to create greater efficiencies with my time as I continue to work part time in the, with my corporate position and transition into my insurance world. It created a tremendous amount of efficiencies that I couldn't find anywhere else. The ability for my clients to have quick engagement with a dialer that would then place those appointments onto my calendar, and then I could call and begin that process.
Awesome. Yeah. And so let's talk about that process, because you've been in the professional world for a long time, and we'll get to some results in just a second. But I'm just curious on what your experience was like after you decided to partner with us, because sometimes it can be scary, right? Because it's not cheap. But then once you can make that decision, what's it been like just working with our team and being connected with us?
Your team is tremendous. Jack, Rommel, and others have been just, I mean, they're so responsive, and that is not necessarily always true when you look at folks that are kind of behind the scenes and making the magic, especially, in a lot of corporate situations, there's a lot of lag time. There's a lot of wait time. Not here. If you have a question, if you have a need, if you have if you want to integrate or connect different pieces together. And while I'm tech savvy, yes, there are certain aspects that I am not. And so your team has made it extremely easy for me to get this as a setup and go, and watch the leads flow through my text messages, through my email, and then on my calendar. I mean, it has really been such an easy transition, and easy place and easy people to work with.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, because that's the one thing that I told my team is that, like, we're always going to work harder to make sure that our customers feel like we care about them than anybody else. And so I appreciate you sharing
Yes.
that. And so, how long have you been in our program?
So June, middle of June is when I actually contracted with you all. And yeah, it was a little bit of an interesting, learning curve. But
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I immediately saw leads flowing in. I knew that I had to pick up the phone and call folks. I was very conscious because I have ads that are running for first responders, and obviously a lot of them are shift workers.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake of calling someone early in the morning, and they were already a bit in bed asleep after their
Yeah.
long shift. But I'm learning. I'm learning as these leads flow in. I'm imagining these folks and whatever their situations are, what is attracting them. And it's one of the questions that I ask. What did you see? What did you hear? What on the ad that made you fill out the form, and want to be contacted? And I've gotten some very interesting responses. That again makes me realize I'm in the right place. I'm
Yeah,
in the
for
right
sure.
place, helping and protecting people.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that because that's the thing that fires me up. A lot of times, agents are just like, "Well, how much did you write? How much did you write?" And I said, "Well, that's only one part of it. Imagine the impact that you can have when you wake up every single day, where you look at your phone, you have dozens of requests. You look at your calendar, you've got 5 to 10 appointments, and then when you have
Yes.
actual conversation with someone, they're actually interested in having a
Yep.
conversation. Like, yes, what's it like to not have to convince and beat your head up against the wall, trying to fight for people to try to do something, as opposed to this way, having a conversation with someone that actually really filled it out and is actually
Yep.
interested, maybe not in buying, but like genuinely just having a conversation.
No, it has been really a nice process. I have an education background as well, prior to going into corporate America. And so the idea of connecting with people and educating folks on and about insurance and all of the different aspects and how it can go about protecting your family, it has been such a joy. I love talking to people. I love meeting people. And not everyone is in a position necessarily to do this, but I know that I have left them in a better place and they are better educated so that when I come back by later on and do a little follow up with them and find out, where they are now and if they're ready to move forward. Because not every lead, actually converts into, a client, but that's okay. For me, it's just connecting with those folks, providing education so that they can make a really good decision for themselves and their family. And your platform, and with the ability of, like you said, waking up every morning and seeing, oh my gosh, I have 6 more leads, and then reaching out to those folks and finding out where they are in their situation, and knowing that, and they know they clicked on a form. I remember it. I know what I saw. I liked the video. Another thing too is your company has allowed me to make my own videos so that when folks are connecting with me, they're like, "Oh, you're who I saw on the video. Yep, that's me." And so I think it also brings us closer together. So there's also trust, that has been provided as well.
Yeah. And so since you've been with us, if you wouldn't mind sharing some of the numbers, 'cause people always just want to kind of know just a rough guesstimate about
Sure.
how many leads, appointments, and
Oh
what kind of
gosh.
APV have you written just being with us in such a short time since June?
So I am seeing, oh gosh, probably anywhere between 12 and 20 leads a day. I am running both final expense as well as I just recently started with IUL, running those particular leads. So I'm getting a lot of connections from both of those. Because I am part time, so I work my insurance business in the afternoons. I am, oh gosh, anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 in APV. The nice thing about it is, through this whole process, I'm learning kind of the ins and outs with the carriers that I'm working with, so that my goal is to really have a very high issue paid. And making sure that my families indeed are protected. So that is for me transitioning very quickly and replacing my salary that I have now with my corporation. And I know that once I do step away, that I'll be right where I was. I won't miss a beat
Yeah, for
because of
sure.
the amount of leads that are coming in.
Yeah, and is that on a daily, a weekly, or a monthly basis for your APV?
The APV is on a weekly basis between 2 to 3,000. And Arturo, I'm only working this business about 2 to 4 hours a day.
Mm. And so you could think about that if you extrapolate that into like part time, if you have a peace of mind, or it's like, man, if it ever comes a time where I need to go full time, I already know what's in
That's right.
store, which is cool. And that's also another thing is like using this as an asset, right? Like now you have an asset that can print money for you and have a system. And so now that you have a system, right, like
That's
it
right.
just feels more comforting to have something to rely on. Well,
Absolutely.
I guess the final question that I have is other people will see these videos as well as have you watched, and now you being on the other side. And some people may be skeptical or may be on the fence that looking at this and it sounds too good to be true. So what would you say to that now with your experience of experiencing us and our team and the things that we've set up, and now that you have a system for your business that is consistent and predictable? What would you say to those people that may be on the fence?
Well, I will tell you, everything that your company um, advertises, I guess, and puts forth is the truth. It provides a very succinct, efficient way of connecting with leads so that you can provide them education and information about the various products that you have at your disposal, and make those connections. I say I'm all about efficiency, time management, and creating much greater ability to move forward and to succeed through a system. And this system has been proven over and over and over again. And again, I'm just getting started. I'm just now really beginning to get into my zone and feel comfortable in the insurance world as I've been in the last 30 years in other aspects of technology. And so I really appreciate the fact that everything that you say, Arturo, actually is there. I have not yet found anything at all that would make me regret, the decision that I made to join your organization.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Lori, again, thank you so much. It's definitely been a pleasure. I don't
Thank
take this
you.
lightly, and so thank you for sharing your message and your story with Rainmaker Nation. And we'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Arturo.
All right, guys. So if you're looking for consistency and predictability in your business, and you're looking for a system that can help take you to the next level, click the link below and book a call with myself or someone from my team. And we'll see you in the next Rainmaker podcast.